An Israeli man was killed in the south of the country on Saturday by a rocket fired from Gaza. He's the third Israeli fatality since the start of the current conflict, which has also claimed the lives of 330 Palestinians. Meanwhile, there was tank and machine gun fire on the border this morning as the Israeli army stepped up its ground operation. Gazan hospitals are struggling to cope with the influx of injured civilians.
توكلوا على الله في الطريق يا شيخ طريق كله ممكن حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولله الحمد الله اكبر ولله الحمد حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل.
Israel's ground offensive is now into its second day, targeting cross-border smuggling tunnels used by Hamas. While the stated goal is to destroy militant capability, it's Palestinian civilians who seem to be paying the price. At least 20 more people were killed on Saturday as the IDF unleashed an intense artillery bombardment. US President Barack Obama has warned Israel against further loss of innocent lives. Of the Palestinians killed since the air campaign kicked off last week, 1 in 5 were children. Harry Fear brings us this report from Gaza.
Thousands of troops and tanks stormed into Gaza in the early hours of Friday morning as Israel began its so-called anti-terror campaign.
This is the Gaza Al Jadida school in central Gaza City. We understand that over the last few days, hundreds of families have come here to seek refuge from the ongoing escalation. They're living in very, very difficult conditions, but they're conditions better than being in extremely dangerous neighborhoods.
Rania is among 50 from the Tamani family who sought refuge here.
بدكم سلامتكم اطلع من البيوت نروح الحمامات بنلاقيها وسخه ونروح نقعد يعني كل الدنيا يعني مش متحملين في نفسنا.
The UN says 22,000 people have been internally displaced and sought refuge in its facilities since this latest bout of violence began last Tuesday. Missiles have consistently slammed into the homes of Palestinians over the last 2 weeks, yet Israel maintains it's only targeting Hamas infrastructure. Mahmoud's home was one of those hit.
They've attacked your home. Are you a member of the Al-Qassam Brigade?
ولا واحد من القسام احنا مواطنين عاديين قاعدين الليلة بدنا نطلع نصلي صلاة الفجر ولا هو الصاروخ نزل قذيفة وهي موجودة يعني ببيتنا قذيفة لسه مش مفقوعة ونزلنا كلنا يعني وشردنا.
It's less than a kilometre away from the Israeli border and near a hospital that was being targeted. Here in the north of the Strip, these refugee camps are some of the most densely populated places on earth. And when the shooting starts, people here suffer more than most. But despite the danger, not all are heeding Israel's warnings to evacuate.
I understand that you were told to evacuate by Israel. Why have you not evacuated?
كله داعية كذاب واحنا بنردش على حدا اخلي ولا ما نخلي اللي كاتبه الله بصير ليش نخلي ونطلع احنا في دورنا قاعدين مش طالعين لا هيك ولا هيك.
Homes are not the only targets damaged in this escalation. On Friday morning, 3 airstrikes hit an office high up in a commercial building in one of the most developed areas of the city.
أنا حتى الآن ما بعرف ليش خبطوني جيش الدفاع الإسرائيلي ليش خبطني إيش هالإجرام أنا اتدمرت أنا 125,000 دولار اتدمرت هذا أكل عيش حطيت كل تحويجة ال 15 سنة تبعوني فيه.
Is it possible that people were firing missiles from your office this morning?
نهائيا طبعا لا الكل بيعرف انه خلال مكتب مسكر بملتي لوك مثل هيك مش ممكن يجي يضرب صاروخ من مكتب زي هيك هذا غير ممكن.
While we're filming in the center of the city, 4 rockets are fired just behind us from a well-known local military site.
The Israeli Prime Minister has given orders to the Israeli army to escalate its ground operations in the Gaza Strip. Palestinians here remember all too well the bloodiness of the winter 2008-9 invasion of the Gaza Strip. At this, a month of Ramadan, a time that is meant to be peaceful, Palestinian Muslims simply pray to God to protect them and their families. Harry Fear, RT, Gaza.
The Israeli ground operation followed an Egyptian-brokered truce which allowed some aid to reach Gaza. However, that only lasted for 5 hours before exchanges of fire resumed. My colleague Union O'Neill spoke with Ilana Stein, deputy spokesperson of the Israeli Foreign Ministry, and we asked her why the ceasefire ended so quickly.
The Egyptians initiated a ceasefire and we respected it and we didn't shoot. And guess what? Hamas kept on shooting rockets at us. And then there was a humanitarian ceasefire and we wanted the people in Gaza to receive medical help, to receive food, to receive all kinds of supplies they need. And the Hamas still kept firing at us.
Surely your government foresaw this huge, terrible human cost.
Fortunately, yes, you have one side who wants violence, and more death, and you have us who are asking them, please, let's stop it, even though this is very risky for us.
They're firing on you because they think you're firing on them first. We are looking at this huge loss of life. It is clearly angering Palestinians, the pictures that we've been showing and that are spreading around the world. By stepping up the operation, aren't you simply pushing this into a spiral of violence that who knows when it could end? We don't want the violence, but unfortunately, this is Hamas's mission. Just more and more violence, more and more death. That's fine, but let's just remember one thing. The UN. That international law, Israel is obliged to protect civilians in the occupied territories. Doesn't this violate what you're doing, the responsibility you have towards the Palestinians? Yes, we have responsibility to civilians in general, and that's what we do. Before we attack, we have flyers that's saying that we're going to attack, and sometimes we also abort missions. You can look it up in our websites. We have pilots actually aborting missions because they're told that there are children nearby, and even though the next day this can be mean that these places are going to launch missiles at us,